this. Yeah. Yeah. So, Vikrant, congratulations on your score, 770, V42, Q51, amazing score. Congratulations for that. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels great. Thank you. I
Good.
mean, e-GMAT had a big role to play in this.
Okay, yeah, let's delve more into that. So, help me understand, Vikrant, when did you start preparing for your test?
I started my preparation in July or August last year. So I was under the impression that the official guides ought to be enough for my preparation. So I saw a couple of YouTube videos and they were talking about how you don't need any other resource. Just buy the official guides and you'll be good. So I bought the OGs in August last year and I prepared for 1 month just using the official guides. I mean, even while I was solving questions, I understood that, I mean, the easy questions came naturally to me and my accuracy in the easy questions was fairly high. But when it came to the medium and the difficult level questions, the hard level questions, my accuracy suddenly dropped and I was also taking a lot of time. So I knew that my preparation was not up to the 760 plus level. I mean, just wanted to confirm which level that am I at. So I gave the Sigma X mock on the e-GMAT site. I got a 710 on that mock, V37 and a Q50.
Okay, so your quant was set
so
from
I
the
knew
get-go.
that I wouldn't need quant was, I mean, I was fairly confident of my quant abilities, but I knew that I would need some help in the verbal section.
Okay, and we'll come back to quant also because I was looking at your account. So we'll come back to this quant part also, that you felt fairly confident, and then we'll fill in the blanks later. Okay, so yeah, verbal, you needed help. So any section in specific that you needed help in verbal?
So in my first attempt, the 710 attempt, the 710 mock, I got a V44 on my CR, and I think I was at a V34 on my RC and V35 on my sentence correction. So I needed help with my RC sentence correction and reading comprehension.
Okay, good. Okay, so then what did you do?
So I looked up the resources that were available, and obviously e-GMAT is the highest rated, so I'd already given a Sigma X mock, so I opted for the 4-month e-GMAT intensive course.
So you went through the reviews on GMAT Club. That's how you got to know that e-GMAT is highly rated?
On GMAT Club.
GMAT Club. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Okay. So then how did you go about preparing for the test? So I understand that you purchased the course in September, October timeframe, right?
2nd October, if I'm not wrong.
2nd October. Yeah.
2nd
so
October.
Right. So yeah, so then walk me through your preparation. I mean, I see that you were very, very thorough with your preparation. So let me share this line chart.
I was.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I was thorough in the beginning. So as they test your ability, that is your baseline, and then you have to fill in a target score, and based on that, they like how much time you should devote to each section. So I was told that if I want to improve from a 710 to a 780, that was my target, I would need 1.5 months of prep. I had to start with the sentence correction module in the beginning, then RC, then CR, and then the quant section. So I prepared diligently for the first month.
I'm going to share. So this is what you're talking
modules.
About, right? You're talking about the personalized study plan, right?
Yeah.
This is what you're talking about, that it told you, okay. So this is the order that you followed?
So
Okay. All right.
I did not follow this order. I started with SC, CR, and then I did my RC first.
Yes.
Left my quant for later.
Right. And I could see that, you were very diligent in going through it. So I see that you went through the YGR course that taught you how to go through the course, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Right.
So I was very diligent in October.
I can see that. Yes.
Then I got some opportunity at work that I would not miss. I got another assignment, and I knew that, I mean, if I I don't take it, then I'll regret later. So I left the course I stopped the course midway, sort of. I was only
in November time frame. Is that when December your thing dropped
November
a lot?
and December.
November, yeah, and I can see
November
that.
and
Yes.
December.
Yep. I can see that November, December, it kind of
November
dropped.
and December, I could not, give any time during the weekdays. And I mean, the number of hours that you're seeing here, this is only during the weekends.
Okay, got it. Wow. So you slogged a lot on the weekends. That's good. Okay. Yeah. And then January, it picked up again, right?
So in the middle of January, I suddenly realized I have my GMAT. So I had finished all my modules by then. I had done the cementing tests also, but I had not revised any of the modules. So I gave another mock in mid-Jan or something. And this time my score dropped from a 710 to a 690.
I saw that. Okay. How did that feel?
So I mean, it came as a shock. I thought I was doing everything like correctly. And I was supposed to improve. And here I was going from a 710 to a 690.
So end of Jan. Okay. So what happened then?
End of Jan. So I still had a week or two before my course ran out. So I just dedicated that 1 week to revising my sentence correction module again. So that last week of January, I just went through the entire course again.
Okay.
I had an option to extend my course by 1 month, but I decided against it immediately. I thought that I already have revised the sentence correction module and I've made notes of the other modules. So I will use this material and solve questions from the official guide for 1 month. And I did that during February. And I came back and repurchased this module for 1 month in March. And during March, I just gave exams. So I scored 740 on my third mock, 740 again on my fourth mock. And then the last mock, I mean, by the end of the last mock, my preparation was going quite well and I scored a 800.
Okay, good.
At a pretty decent level. My RC was at a V35 or something. And in my final attempt, I was able to increase my RC score from a V35 to a V45. And that was the biggest improvement.
Wow.
And my sentence also, I was able to improve from V34 to a V42 or something.
So what clicked in RC? What changed in RC to go from V35 to V44? You said
V44 or 45.
Yeah.
So,
So tell me what changed.
Previously, when I was reading a particular question, I would just glance through the question and glance through the passage and then go straight to the question. So when you have to solve the inferred idea questions, you need to know the entire passage and what the passage wants to tell you. I mean, those questions are about the passage as a whole. So you can't just read certain chunks of the passage and solve those questions. And if you keep going back to the question again and again, you waste a lot of time. So previously I used to take 10 to 12 minutes for one question, passage that is 4 questions. So that would be more than three minutes per question.
Yeah. Okay. Then what did you do?
To read that to 6 minutes per passage.
How did you make that possible?
I started reading the passage. I started reading the passage slowly. I would absorb everything after going through the passage. And I made it a point that I would not look at the passage again once I read it. And after reading the passage, only for certain data type questions, I would go back to the passage. For every other question, I would just read the passage and then not look at the passage.
That's very interesting. And then that led you to be able to answer questions within 6 minutes. Wow, that's amazing. We usually say, anywhere from 6 to 8 minutes, and you were at the lower end of that. That's amazing. Okay. So, just small tweak in the process can create such a huge impact, right? That got you from V35 to V45 in RC. That's absolutely amazing. Okay. Now, in order for you to read the passage very in detail and absorb everything in the passage, was there a mental switch that you had to do? I mean, what made
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
it was all about the approach. I mean, previously I would like start reading the question, and if a certain line would not register, I would just skip it. If a certain like para would not register, I would skip it and just complete the passage. I was just racing against time. I thought I have to complete the passage in a short amount of time, 2 minutes, and then go through the questions. But this was counterproductive. It was actually taking a lot more time than it should have. If you just
How did you realize that? How did you come
go
to
through
that
the passage
realization?
diligently.
No, but how did you come to that realization?
I mean, it's given in the module only. So it was
It's given in the course.
suggested in the module. I did not take it seriously in the beginning.
Got it. Got
I
it.
did not
You
take
know,
it seriously in the beginning, but yeah,
okay, good, good. The reason why
but
I'm
when I
asking
was
is,
not
yeah.
scoring well,
Okay, then
yeah,
you said,
sorry.
okay, let me follow what's there in the course. Makes sense. The reason why I'm asking is because, again, it's intuitive. I mean, lots of students make that mistake, right? So, which is why and again, this is something which our course is built upon that philosophy, right? You immerse yourself in the passage, you understand everything that there is. Our free webinar is actually built upon that entire thing. You have to immerse yourself. But despite that, you made that mistake, and students continue to make that mistake, and they falter, and then they come back. So that's why I just want to, kind of, this would be a good learning for everyone watching this, that, you have to just follow these principles. These principles work. It may be counterintuitive in the beginning that, GMAT is a timed exam, but, the results speak for themselves, right? So good. All right. So tell me about SC. How was SC?
So SC also, I mean, I was solving questions through pure intuition. So there was no method to my solving. So that can work in the easy questions, sometime in the medium level questions as well. But when it comes to hard level questions, so you always end up having 2 or 3 options that all of them seem like and sound correct. So it just comes down to guesswork. So I mean, I had to change my approach entirely by going through the module. I did not know the grammatical rules. I did not know how to like where to use the past perfect tense, or where do you use because, or where do you use since. So I mean, I just went through the course and I completely trusted what was given in the course, and I think that was more than enough.
Okay, that's very important. I mean, you use the word trust. I mean, the course is there. And I always say, students, there are thousands of students who go through the course. Not everybody gets to that, 97th, 98th, 99th percentile. And that trust actually makes that difference. Do you trust what's there in the course? So good, very nice. So in terms of using another material, did you think that the content that you have in e-GMAT, that's enough to get you to your score of 770 plus?
I think the content was more than enough. I mean, if one wants to like solve all the questions, I took the 4-month course, and in the last month, I was just solving questions, and even then, I was not able to complete all the questions that were there.
Right. So I'm just looking at your
So
dashboard. Yeah, you used 81% of questions that were available. Almost 1,200 questions. So you used around 960 of those. Okay, and that was also way too many for you, is what you're saying. And we are talking about just verbal
yeah.
here. Okay, good, good. All right, so let's talk about our quant here as well. So verbal you used quite a bit here. Let's talk about quant. In quant, did you practice? Quant also you used. So help me understand this. You were already at Q50 in quant, right? So when I look at this, your last 20 accuracy is amazing, in hard questions. That goes without saying. Also, I mean, you went through the entire module as well, all of the modules, and you did everything in quant. So help me understand that part. What
Yeah,
made you
even
finish? Yeah.
I mean, initially I was under the impression that I would only use the verbal module, and I'm already at a Q50. I just need to practice, and I will get at a Q51. But when I gave that second mock and I got a 690, and my quant score decreased from a Q50 to a Q49, that is when I sort of panicked and I started solving a lot of questions. So what was happening in quant was that I was taking a lot of time in the initial few questions. So I would solve a question in 30 seconds, but then I would start wondering, maybe there's a catch in this question and maybe the examiner is trying to trick me. So I would just like go through that question again and spend another 30 seconds, 1 minute. So this would take a lot of time in the initial questions. And then if I would get stuck at a particular question, I would try to like force solve the question, even if it took 7 minutes for a particular question. So this
So
was
you
giving
had
me
two
a little.
issues. So two issues here. Sorry. One is that you were second guessing yourself. Second is that you were not giving up on questions. That's what was happening, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then what was the solution then?
So, I mean, by solving a lot of questions, I was able to like eliminate the silly mistakes that I was making. Like when you go through the arithmetic questions, you, I mean, assume things that are not given in the question. Like if the question says that a number is like non-positive, you sort of assume that it's negative, and the answer can be zero as well.
You were looking at the constraints now, right? That's the process skill that we talk about. You know, I don't like the word silly mistakes. Silly mistake is, you know that, right? When I always say in my courses, right? There's nothing like silly mistake, except for, you know, that you came up with the answer of 32 in your scratch pad and, you know, your mind wavered somewhere else and you accidentally selected 31. That's the only silly mistake that I would say. That also is, you know, lack of attention to detail, right? Your mind wavered somewhere. But, you know, the mistake that you're talking about, that's a constraint, right? Identifying constraints. So that's one of the very key process skills. So through the course, you were able to enhance your understanding of those, and your mind was now looking for those constraints. Okay. So you went through everything in the quant course, right? I mean, let me share this because this was very surprising for me. Because again, our quant course is space enabled. So if you take the diagnostics, I mean, I was shocked to see that a person with, you know, Q50 would have pace time savings of 0 minutes. What that means is that, you know, you did not choose to, you maybe took the diagnostics later on, and you didn't choose to use the diagnostics to tell you what aspects of the course you should do and what aspects you should not do, right? So you did not want to leave any stone unturned, right? That's what was happening.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to secure a Q51, so I thought that I should go through that course, even if, I mean, some of the concepts seemed basic, but if I was able to save a couple of minutes in solving the simple questions, even that would help, because timing was the entire issue in quant.
Right.
I mean, when I used to solve the questions initially, I mean, out of the 32 questions, I would be able to solve only 31 questions, sorry, 29 or something. So I was just trying to save time on the easier questions.
Okay. So, and the way you were able to cut off time from your from per question was that you refined your process skills so much that now when you would take a look at the question, that would happen intuitively, and that all that happened because you went through the entire course. You solved again 90% of all questions in Scholaranium as well. Yeah, 60% of all quant questions. So you solved upwards of, you know, 850 questions in quant. So good, very nice. I mean, that's very impressive, Vikrant. I would say you are a very diligent student. I mean, you don't leave anything to chance. You want to have complete control over your prep. So that's really a very good characteristic, I would say. Yeah, so good. Anything else that you would want to add? How the e-GMAT course helped you, and how, you know, or how, you know, what kind of, when you were solving questions, for example, towards in the month of March, what was the thing that was going on in your head? What metrics were you tracking that kept you going, or that told you that yes, you are headed on the right path?
I think I mean, the biggest thing that I feel that helped me in the end was that out of the 4 mock tests that I took in the initial, of the 5 mock tests that I took, in the initial 4 mocks, I attempted the quant section in the beginning and then the verbal section. And in my last mock, which was the 800 mocks, I switched the order. I attempted the verbal section in the beginning and the quant section after that. And in my official mocks as well, I attempted the verbal section in the beginning and the quant section afterwards. So making that switch only, I mean, it enhanced my score from a 740 to a 770, I feel.
Interesting.
Because I mean, when you solve the quant section, your mind like gets fried at the end of it. So you're not able to like concentrate on the verbal part. I mean, for me, that was the case.
That's very interesting. So essentially, if I were to just summarize your journey, you did the entire course diligently. each and every file, you reviewed it, you did everything, you learned all the concepts, you learned the process. Then you spent the time in solidifying that, you were cementing along the way. Then you spent the time in solidifying that, you tweaked your processes. For example, in RC, you made that switch because you saw that, your accuracy wasn't there, you were taking too long. Then after that, you then practiced questions and you continue to solidify your process. And then once your process was solidified, now it was, how are you going to apply all of that within the test, in the test environment? Do you need to do switches between your quant and verbal sections, your timing aspect and all that? So you utilize the mocks to do that. That's a very structured way of preparing, I would say, Vikrant. So good job with that. It worked for you. And it's a very structured way, which again, students can definitely take inspiration from and apply in their own studying. So good. All right, Vikrant. So you are now going to get ready for your application. So wishing you all the very best. If I would say GMAT was 20 on the scale of 1 to 100, and I'm purposely choosing scale of 1 to 100, then preparing for your MBA applications will be 70, I would say. So again, you do have to, you do have to struggle. It's a lot of soul searching, as we were talking earlier, and it's a very rewarding experience. Right. So GMAT helps you. So I always say, that GMAT helps you to stay on point, to stay diligent, focused on that goal. So and those characteristics then help you further along when you are preparing for your applications, because there's not a very it is a structured way to prepare to prepare your applications, but not as structured as GMAT. With GMAT there's a course syllabus. If you're following a course, you that you have all these metrics. With application process, it's a lot depends on you and how much of soul searching you're able to do. And yeah, so good luck with that. It's going to be a very rewarding experience, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you to the entire e-GMAT team. I mean, it was a great course and I wouldn't have been able to score a 770 without it.
We truly appreciate that, Vikrant. So